Hey guys, in this video we are going to do a tour and review of
Still Waters Lakefront Resort.
Show you all the amenities that it has to offer, including basically everything that Still Waters Resort has for you guys. I know a lot of you guys are looking for family-friendly places to stay, and so we are 2 adults with 4 kids, and we wanted to kind of talk through what we liked and didn't like about Still Waters Resort so that you guys can make a decision. And normally the decision is around, do you stay at Still Water Lakefront Resort? Do you go to Big Cedar and pay a little bit more money, or do you go ahead and just book a VRBO or Airbnb? And so today we're specifically going to be talking about our stay at Still Water Resort. For our stay, we booked the double standard room, and the total cost of the room was like $680 or something, which is not bad. So that rounds out to around $300 a night. I know that at Big Cedar Lodge they run about that a night, which is ridiculous. But also I called right after our stay, and we wanted to stay sometime in August, and the rates for Still Water Resort, yes, the same resort, was going to be $400 on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday would be $550. The stay over 2 days was almost the cost of staying one night.
We rented room 316.
And it was on the 3rd floor. And what was great about room 316 was that, again, 3rd floor is the top floor, so you can't really hear all your neighbors. They might have heard us because we've got 4 kids running around. But room 316 is what we had. So Aubrey, why don't you tell them about all the rooms that we had?
So there's 1 king-size bed, and then there's 2 queen-size beds, and then there's a pull-out bed couch.
So when we pulled out the sofa, the kids wanted to kind of hang out there at night when we were doing movie night after like a long day of doing Silver Dollar City. Unfortunately, the television remote like really didn't work. So what we did was we brought an HDMI cable, which with a like adapter, a lightning adapter, and we basically streamed Netflix on the television between the hours of 8 and 9 when they went to bed.
Their Wi-Fi was pretty terrible when it came to having like, I don't know, 500 rooms in one area.
Yeah, so the Wi-Fi was absolutely horrible. Like, I thought it was my phone, but my husband's phone wasn't working either. The LTE, we have T-Mobile LTE service, and it was terrible. And my husband actually still is on Sprint. They're trying to get him to cut over to T-Mobile, but his phone was terrible. My phone was terrible. I know they're one in the same company, and I thought it was the maybe the cell service, so I turned off the cell service, and then I tried to do Still Waters like Wi-Fi, and it was horrible as well. So if you plan on working during that time, I would highly suggest that you kind of find an alternative, because the Wi-Fi was absolutely horrible, even with Sprint service. Kind of as a secondary measure. So the first day that we actually got to Branson, we actually did the amusement park first, Silver Dollar City first, and then we were able to kind of leave around 5 o'clock and then go to the closest Walmart to pick up a few items like bread, bacon, eggs, and apples and chips, and it was under like, I don't know, $40.
The kitchen was really awesome because they had a fridge, they had a microwave, they had a stove, they had an oven, and they had ice trays so we can make ice, and they had extra skillets, they had plates, bowls, silverware, and knives.
What we did was the day that we actually arrived in Branson, we actually went straight to the park, so we actually didn't have any food, but we did have all utensils and all that stuff there. And $40 is not a lot, because it's generally like half of what we would pay for breakfast, especially when we're eating out as a family of 6. And so we were able to kind of make not only breakfast for 2 nights, but also lunches, really quick lunches for the day after with peanut butter jelly sandwiches. So that was great.
So there were 2 bathrooms, one in the kitchen living room area, and one in the master bedroom.
Yeah, and the bathrooms were actually not bad. I was so glad that we had 2 bathrooms, because I remember actually having 1 bathroom for all 6 of us, and it was ridiculous. So it was really, really nice and convenient to have 2 separate bathrooms in the space.
There was no maid service at all. They didn't bring you new towels or anything. There's a linen exchange if you want new towels.
Yeah, so the linen exchange, so we were at Building D, and I'll show you guys a map. At Building D, like right across, like diagonally from the building, was the linen exchange, which was really, really nice. We actually didn't use the linen exchange, to be honest, because we only stayed 2 nights, and pretty much were able to reuse some of the towels from the night before.
There was a large balcony. It had a table and 4 chairs.
Yeah, and the balcony was really great. Even though it faced the parking lot, it was fine. I just needed a space where I could go out and just chill out outside without any of the kids messing with me. So it was great to just have a big balcony.
So we actually dried our clothes on the balcony because there was no washer and dryer on this unit specifically. So there was 3 swimming pools at Still Waters Resort, and we had the best pool, which was right by our hotel.
The other pool was right by the food place.
How many slides did it have?
1.
Yeah. And then there was a third pool called the Serenity Pool, and it had no slides at all, which was the area, like, if you didn't want to hear kids running around and screaming, this would be the pool that you would go to.
So now let's talk about the Oasis pool, the one that we went to. It was a pretty good pool. It was the biggest pool out of all of them. There was one slide, and there was like this rock cliff with like a waterfall going down, and you could go inside the waterfall, if that makes sense.
How deep was it, Aubrey?
3 feet and 2 inches.
No, it was 3.5 feet.
Okay, it was 3.5 feet. And so what was great about it is it had shallow area where the littles could actually walk to, which was great. But then the deeper side, like you can see clearly like where it's deeper because it's white up to the point where it gets a lot deeper. What else did it have over the pool?
A bridge and those little rocks that you could like jump on.
Yeah. And then what's really great about the slide is that it's not a slide that kind of dips into like 4 feet water, because the second best pool actually has that, but this pool actually just like dumps into like this 6-inch deep water at the bottom. So my little girl who's 4 was able to ride it, and I also saw like a 2-year-old go down it too. So that was really great. And there are lifeguards up there kind of watching and all that. I was able to go down with her the first time, so there's no concerns there.
The hot tub was big and it was warm, and you could probably fit 20 people in there. The hot tub was in the same area as the pool.
Yeah, and so it basically could hold about 20 people. It had a ledge where you can sit on, obviously. It wasn't as busy as I thought it would be, especially for a resort like that, so that was great. And some of the other pools also had hot tubs as well, so it wasn't like that was the only one that had a hot tub.
There was also 5 feet water that grown-ups could go in. Like, also there was a rope that you could go under, and it led to 5 feet water. I obviously couldn't read, but I wouldn't recommend your children to go in there because it's kind of deep, and they don't like give you life jackets that you can just put back in a way.
Yeah, so they didn't have life jackets there, so just FYI. But they did have life jackets in the Marina area where you go into the lake, which we will talk about next.
So it was a 2-minute walk, and you walk across this bridge and you sign in.
So when you walk into the building, they'll have all sorts of things that you can rent. But if you stay at the resort, you'll get a band. We had a purple band where basically we just signed things out and then just put a time in and time out area for it. And then we just went ahead to the shore and picked it up. We went around, I think 9 o'clock that morning, and no one was really there. And then what happened, Aubrey?
A lot of people started to come.
Yeah, a lot of people started renting it out. So if you're an early bird, that might be a great thing because you'll be able to get access to what you want to ride.
If you were a resorts guest like we were, there were paddle boards and like kayaks that you could ride. They were free, but there was also jet skis.
When we stayed in June of 2021, we actually got a $100 credit towards like either renting a pontoon boat or a speedboat or even a jet ski, but it was like a tiered approach. So if I spent like, I don't know, $100, I would get $25 off of the 100 that I got, or if I spent all the way up to 400, I would get $100 off. So it was kind of a tiered approach, and it was a credit that wasn't really a credit unless you spent an X amount of money. So we didn't do any things that cost money, but the things that are free were what she said, which was the kayak, what was it, the paddleboard?
Yeah, the paddleboard.
There was also a water bike and a paddle boat.
Yeah, and so the kids had a blast there, especially with my husband who was trying to paddleboard and show off his skills. So they had a ton of life jackets for everyone, which is great. And the activities were really fun. I think we stayed there for like 2 hours, but they had a blast.
It was our first time kayaking, and we actually had a lot of fun. But if you have younger kids like us, I wouldn't recommend them going like out like barely far.
Have an area where they broke off, so you're not in the main channel, but you could go as wide as you want, but not too far from the dock, which is really cool. And none of the kids that I saw that were doing kayaking were going that far anyway, so it was just really, really great. I will say that the paddle boat was just really hard, and I was working out really hard to get it back to the dock. So just FYI, it's not as easy as it looks, especially when I'm like trying to do the rudder with a 4-year-old on the boat. So word of the wise, if you want to have a great workout, then go ahead and use the paddle boat.
There's a bunch of activities that you could do, except we didn't do all of them because we didn't have that much time, and there's a ton of things to do.
Like what?
There was a mini golf, tennis, and arcade.
And a volleyball sand pit, which is really cool. We just didn't have time to do a lot of that.
And I don't think that you would go on a playground on vacation.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about food next. On the first night, the kids were absolutely tired, so we did not go anywhere to eat, except we stayed in, and we went to the Bayview, I think their general store area, which was less than a 3-minute walk, to be honest. And so what we did was we ordered a supreme pizza. What did you guys think about the pizza?
That was good.
Yeah.
Was it like bad, good, like on a scale of 1 to 10?
It was like
And
it was like
7 or 8.
Yeah, it was 7 or 8.
We thought it was pretty good. I would give it a 9 myself. So, and I also ordered their chicken wings naked, and they were delicious. So let's talk about the coffee, which is in the same area. The coffee area opens at 8. I don't know about you guys, but we have early risers. When you know, my kids get up at like 6:30, 7 o'clock every single weekday, and so 8 o'clock was the first time that coffee bar was open, which was kind of sad. But what we did get was delicious. I had an iced latte with 2 pumps of chocolate mocha. It was absolutely delicious. Ryan had drip coffee, and he didn't say much, so that meant that it wasn't like bad and it wasn't good.
So across the street from the Bayview Pizza area was a casual area with this taco truck.
Yeah, so it was a delicious taco truck. It was called
the Shady Taco.
And we ordered the street tacos, carne asada, street tacos, as well as the fish tacos, and they were absolutely delicious. And the other thing that we got was the trio chip dip. Aubrey, tell them what kind of chip dip it was.
Guac, salsa, and nacho cheese.
How was it?
Good.
Good? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we the night that we had the street tacos, we actually took that to the pool and into the lounge area, which was really, really awesome. And we were able to kind of eat and devour that. It was kind of expensive for those 3. So carne asada, like 3 tacos, 3 fish tacos, and like a trio dip. It was around $50 after it was said and done, which is kind of expensive. But in terms of like just feeding all 6 of us, isn't that expensive really for a vacation. Let's talk about how far it was from all of the different attractions, which is, you know, why you go to Branson. So, how far was it from Silver Dollar City?
It was like 2 miles, which added up to be like 4 minutes.
Yeah, so it wasn't bad at all. Like, it was really, really great. The kids were exhausted on the first day, and so it was just great to kind of go to the resort. And when you actually are on like that main strip, I think it's Indian Point or something like that, there's actually a check-in place, a building that's separate from all the other like buildings, obviously, but it was specifically there for checking in. And when you actually checked in, it was a pretty easy and smooth process. It took less than like 5 minutes to check in and be on our way. But before you check in, just make sure you take a picture of your license plate, because you're going to need that so they can give you a tag for your review mirror, so that they know that you are a guest there with your vehicle.
Okay. Still Waters Resort is 20 minutes away from the landing.
And then if you're wanting to do Top of the Rock golf cart tour, it's about 30 minutes away from Still Waters Resort, so just FYI. So that is our tour of Still Waters Lakefront Resort. If we were to compare this to some other resorts that we stayed around, like Big Cedar Lodge, I have not told them what to say, but if we were to compare this to Big Cedar Lodge, what would you guys consider? What was more fun?
Still Water.
Really? Why?
Because they had like 3 pools. And I think at Big Cedar Lodge there was only like a lazy river.
No, there's a ton more pools. I think what was great about Stillwater was that everything was close by, but Big Cedar had amazing theming, and so it was actually a jaunt to get to another pool. So you'd actually have to take your car and ride it around to get to the other pool, which is why we stayed in the lazy river area. But overall, I thought that Stillwater was just great for families in general, just because everything was so compact and close together. And like the food was like maybe 2 minutes away. But the food at Big Cedar Lodge, what did you guys think about that?
It was really good. Big Cedar Lodge has more stuff that you can pick from, sit down and eat.
Yeah, they had a ton more restaurants, but like I said, you have to take a car to get there. I mean, if you don't mind a 20-minute walk, sure, you could probably get there, but I would recommend taking a car if you're going to Big Cedar Lodge and making sure that you're able to kind of get to where you want to be. But overall, I think if I had to do it all over again, I would pick Stillwater. Maybe not at the $400 or $500 price point. If you can get it under $300, that's when I would bite the bullet to go get a stay at Stillwater Resort. But overall, I think we enjoyed it. What about you girls?
It was really, really fun.
Okay, so there you have it. That's our review. I hope you guys found that helpful. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a
thumbs up,
subscribe, and turn on notification bell.
Bye.